Welcome to the Journeyman Cave, a podcast where we meet and chat with some of boxing's most seasoned road warriors, hosted by Mark Shakespeare and Chris Scarfe.
Welcome back to the Journeyman Cave, everybody. This is round 48. And with me, as always, my good friend Mr. Mark Shakespeare. How you doing?
Yes, as always, mate. Like I always said to you, we're doing good. What about yourself?
Not so bad. Not so bad for a rainy afternoon.
Hopefully it won't pick you up on Mike, mate.
Well, I mean, hopefully not go to my hair either. What we got this week?
We've got the promise mate himself, Perry Howe.
Perry.
Yeah, a bit of a strange one, really. I mean, he's a little bit different to what we usually have. I mean, he started off with ambitions, absolutely amazing fan base. He can shift 150 tickets, no problems. Been in the own corner all the time, but I think he decided now that he wants to go on the road. And when I found this out, I had to get in touch with him, didn't I?
You did?
I mean, what I want to say what I used to say, I must say this in Perry's intro, is that we went into his sponsors on a bit, didn't we, on the show?
Oh,
but
yeah.
The thing is that very well supported is Perry, and he had that many to shout out that we couldn't get them all in. So I apologise that we couldn't mention them all in name, all his sponsors. But what Perry did like to say is he knows who you all are, and he would like to thank you all for your support, every single sponsor he's got. And he says, without you guys, and he says, like I've said, you know who you are, he wouldn't be where he is now. He'd like to thank you all. So thank you for helping Perry. And without sponsors like your guys, we couldn't do this, could we?
Yeah, brilliant.
He's definitely seen the other side of boxing since he's been in the away corner, and I think he's enjoying it, mate. And I think we're going to see he's got a lot of ambitions going forward and a target in mind, and I'm looking forward to watching his career now in the away corner with a bit of a following.
Yeah, me as well. I remember Perry from, I think, early days when we started. I remember seeing his name around. Obviously, a bit like everybody else, I didn't know that much about him. But yes, it was nice to meet him with Perry. Good interview, speaks well, and obviously somebody else we might be able to get back in future. Oh,
definitely, yeah. I mean, he's going nowhere. If Perry is loving life, isn't he? I mean, if everyone liked Perry in life, maybe a better place, wouldn't he? He's an happy guy and he's a great guy as well, mate. And I'm looking forward to this.
He is. So just before we get on with that, please like and subscribe wherever you listen to us. If it's on YouTube or any of your podcatchers, it's all appreciated. So no further ado, let's go and speak to Perry Howe.
Do you have an amateur career?
Not really, no.
I didn't think you did, Perry.
What I did is I did a lot of unlicensed, didn't I? And so when I lived up Teesside, I had about 3-4 junior bouts as a kid. I joined the army, lost my card, started again in army, had about 10 in army, lost my card, come out, did unlicensed and charity stuff, and then went back to my original gym at Parsons Cross. That's how I got talking to Matty again, and ended up having 2 seniors for them after losing my card again, you know. So, like, on paper, I'd not really done much amateur. So when I went for my licence, I was having to, like, be like, well, I have done this. Like, when I went in the army, just because I'd only had 10 fights, whatever, but to get there, I'd already done the inter squadrons and stuff that weren't on paper. So I'd done a lot, you know.
So what were it like at army then, mate? Did you enjoy it?
I loved it. Loved it when I was single.
Yeah.
And then I met a woman who absolutely destroyed the lots.
That gets some, mate, in life. You live and learn.
She was only an OC's daughter, weren't she, as well, Pad's brat. So
dear.
Absolute carnage. Did me in.
The lives and learns, nothing there.
Live and learn on that one, yeah.
So what you do at army then, Perry? Like?
I'm ex-Royal Engineer, so...
Oh, yeah? So they're quite obviously like, well...
blowing stuff up, demolition, mine finding, all that. And then my trade, quite ironically, with carpentry.
Yeah.
And the thing where, when I was at school, I did really well at school. And I failed 2 things. Well, I tell you, like, I didn't fail it. I gave German up in year 9 because I weren't very good at it. And I failed resistant materials, which was woodwork in design. And then 2 years later, I'm in Germany as a carpenter. And I'm thinking, like that, I'm going, anything someone tells me I'm not good at, I seem to go and do. So
yeah,
this is probably why I'm boxing. I've been told since I was 10 years old I'd never turn pro. Oh, well, I'm here, aren't I? So I just think...
most certainly are, Perry, mate.
I like proving people wrong.
How did you get into unlicensed then?
Well, when I first started, it were I lived up in Teesside because I found myself homeless up there. And then...
Oh, tough then, mate.
Yeah. I got, like I say, I'd gone through the marriage breakdown and all that. And I was trying to stay up in the area to be near my daughter and stuff. And I was just in woods, camping out. My army skills come in. Got myself sorted. And then I got housing. And obviously where I lived, I got talking to a few... Straight away, I was finding out about boxing and who I could see. And they were just promoters about and stuff. And before I knew it, I was out earning money doing that. So...
That's credit to you, though, that, Perry, mate. You know, to gone through what you've gone through and come back. And obviously now you're happily married with your family.
Yeah.
And you've proved a few people wrong in your career, mate, haven't you?
I always say a story about my ex-wife. When I come out of the army and everything up in the air, I said to her, if we were to move back to Sheffield, I could turn pro with the boxing, I could do this, I could do that. And she looked at me, got out to say, like, you're chatting crap. I was like, no, I could do it. And it ended up taking me till I was 29 to come back home and do it myself, but I did it, so...
Yeah, Rome wasn't built in a day, mate, was it?
That's it. I'm glad I turned pro late on as well. Like, I look back, because I always look at these kids 18, 19, and I think it's too much too soon for them. So they've not got the life skills to deal with the business side of it. They've not got the head on them. They need babysitting, and there's a lot of snakes in this game, and they can't think for themselves. So I just think, like, I'm at an age where obviously Rob's my manager, but he's my friend, and we talk everything through. So, and he knows that he ain't just going to tell me anything. I'm going to go, yeah, all right, Rob. He speaks to me like I'm an adult. So you have a bit more wise shoulders on you, don't you, when you're a bit older? So
yeah, most certainly, mate. And like you said, the one good thing you've had, you've always had some good support, mate. And you've always been looked after, and you've got a good camp around you.
I've got a good team. I noticed that, like I say, on the Kaidoba fight, Pete come with me and Gary. Last week, I had Billy Dennis and I got Rob, I got Daz, and I got Pete with me in the changing rooms, and I looked, and all the other away fighters were on their own, and they were actually asking our lot to help them. And I looked, and I thought, I am really lucky, me. Like I said, for my team to be coming with me week in, week out, I says, it does make the difference. Like, it was quite lonely down at Oldham. I couldn't take no fans with me, obviously, as I spoke about. I couldn't do nothing. We got the call on 2 days' notice, and I was just like, well, I'm glad these are here. Like, it's my family, isn't it? So
yeah, and it's like you said, mate, they look after you. And so, who made you turn pro then? Who were the one who give you that final push, apart from yourself?
Well, I've got to give him some credit, Regan Denton.
Yeah.
So how I got talking to Regan, this small world, is I had no intentions of coming back to proper boxing, but I was doing the unlicensed, the white collars and stuff, and just messing about with it. And I got a pal, Kevin England, get in touch with me, and he says, I know a lad called Pop, and he wants you on a white collar charity do for him. And he turns out the hood with Regan. I went, yep, no worries. And I just said, the rest is history. I ended up training down there. Regan was saying to us, let's turn pro. At the time, I was about 18, 19 stone. I didn't have a care. And as the weight were coming off and I were moving about, doing what I was doing, I did listen to him. I said, right, if we're going to do it, let's do it. So that's it. Just cracked on with it.
All you had really, a bit of white collar, mate. You've gone in, virtually new to the game, aren't you?
Yeah, I'd had 2 amateur bouts that I lost at Collie Club, my local, and one of them were for Yorkshire title. I got a call on that on a day. I'd been training for 3-2s, and Bob Wright rings me and says, do you fancy fighting for a title tomorrow night? 3 3-minute rounds. I went, yeah, no worries. I get in, lad's about 6'6". I couldn't barely touch him, and I nearly collapsed in changing room afterwards. I couldn't even hold myself up for 3 rounds. I was like, that dying. Doctor said to me, I think you need to get fit. I went, I think so. Give us a flag.
That sounds a dream for Scarfe, do you, Perry? If we ever get on road, and Scarfe will be laughing, mate, afterwards. I'm telling you, mate.
That's it.
Yeah, but like you said, we're coming to your career record, mate.
Yep.
When we did turn over, 5 at the minute, we're going to start off at the beginning, when you had a nice start and we had some ambition. I'm sure you did have some ambition at the start. At the minute, we're still going strong. We've got 5 wins, 11 losses, and 1 draw. Right, 17 fights in total. But when we started off, did we have any ambitions at all?
No, I'll be honest with you. When I did my debut, I was always going to have a home debut because I knew I could sell it. But I would have been happy going straight on the road there and then. There were no ambitions. I think what led me down the route I did straight away was how popular I was. I didn't realise when you're selling 200, 250 tickets that's actually high in this game. So when I walked out on my debut and these 250 people sat there screaming my name, it were a bit of an overwhelming moment. Obviously for me, just to be in that ring with everything I've said in my life at 29, I was like, wow. And I kind of had a bit of a freezing moment, like, oh, wow, this is all for me. And it was quite humbling. And obviously I went out there and didn't throw a shot for 30 seconds, and Nathan Junior turned it into a slugfest and got a draw. And as we know on the road side of things, that probably was a win. So
what do you
Andy
reckon to
Brooks
that
saved me for
debut
another
then,
day.
Mick? You're at Ponds Forge, wasn't it?
Yeah, Ponds Forge. Like I say, I let myself down. I'm not going to take no discredit from Nathan. I like Nathan. I speak to him a lot now.
He's now promoting, isn't he?
Yeah, doing a bit of managing and that.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. But I'll speak to him behind the scenes, and we're passing each other things here and there, like going, "Hey, you want that one? I'll have that one." You know.
So what do you reckon to that first pro fight? Were it nerves that got to you, mate?
Yeah,
or?
it was like I say. I compare it to you know, when you watch X Factor or like that, and you know someone can sing, but they get there and they just freeze. That's exactly what I did. Like I said, when I walked out and seen 250 people screaming my name, and I was like quite overwhelmed just with the situation of being there. And then as my career went on, obviously you learn to deal with that a bit better, but it never really goes away. Like, unless you're doing what I'm doing now, where I'm fighting every week, and it is literally just getting out of bed. Like, I think all this part at the minute is just turning up. You go, oh, can't get down there, you know. So
Yeah, but I think from the start, mate, you're meant to be in the away corner, mate.
Yeah.
You've got the thick skin. You've had your tough time growing up.
yeah.
You know what I mean? But like you said, when you did start off, I could understand why a promoter or somebody wanted your own corner,
Yeah.
mate. Because like you just said there, to be selling 250 tickets.
The thing is, I'm quite
That is a lot.
humble. I'm quite humble in the fact now that I've chose to do what I'm doing. But any time I want to put a home show on, I can put a home show on. I can, but I wouldn't sell my supporters a walk round job. I'm not into padding my record. I'm not into it. They know why I'm doing what I'm doing, and they know when I'm going out there, I'm having competitive fights with people that are probably 10 times better than me, but at least I'm turning up to have a go. And I don't want to be paying someone to turn up to walk me around just to get me another win on the card. It's just not my style, you know.
I mean, we spoke about that, didn't we, earlier, that I think Dark Line, there will be another home fight for you at some point.
Yeah,
but like
definitely.
you said, credit to you again, you don't want just to walk around for a win. You want to scrap, don't you?
Yeah, that's
And you
it.
want it to be a good, entertaining fight for your fans.
Yeah, my fans would rather see me go down on my shield, and that's why I've got such a good fan base, because I'm genuine about it. I'm not there to just. I don't want someone there just to make the numbers up and walk me round. I do want the fights. It's why I would have been happy to take the Sheldon fight. That would have been a good home domestic. Did the Central Air with Ricky. Obviously, he's just retired now. I could say I retired him, can't I?
I think you did.
Where his last fight?
I'm not saying he didn't
That's
reply
it.
to my message, so I think you definitely retired him.
That's it. I bet he'll come on and have a talk, Ricky. He's a good lad, Ricky.
I don't know, his record's too good.
That's it, yeah. Yeah, that's it.
To be honest,
Perry?
Perry,
Or something?
to be honest, Perry, I think you've got one of the best records we've had on, to be quite
Is
honest.
it with 5 wins? Yeah, well, I look at some of them and I think when they've got like 3 or 4 wins, because a lot of journeymen, they've gone straight on the road. They've done well to get the wins, haven't they? Like, I'm not in the game now. I feel a bit defeated sometimes. So I had the 3 fights in November, and I look back and I think, right, we had Sonny Taylor, and I lost every round. Didn't lose every round. But it is what it is. Smile and wave, go home. He got a 28-day medical ban, Sonny Taylor. Not a mark on me. I thought, but I've lost every round. Fair enough. And then week after, I think we had Trader Berry. I get on scales with Trader Berry. And I went, there's no way he's making 14 stone 4. We're pushing it. He gets on scales 14 stone 4 ripped. I went, how on earth are you 14 stone 4? That were an odd night's work. That fight was one of those. We were a bit hesitant to take it anyway. We knew we had Nick Pauper the week after. And I remember Rob saying to me, first round, he says, if this gets too much, I'm throwing towel in. And you know what that's going to mean. I went, I know, it'll be off next week. So I ran and ran and ran for 3 rounds. He's just pinging me head. By the end of it, Rob's screaming at me, going, just one more round, we're getting through, we're going to get through this. We were absolutely buzzing just to survive. And then that's made me look good, because he's just stopped someone again at weekend, I think. So
We'll come back to him later on in your record, mate, because I like to talk about your first record, your winning record. Let's enjoy your winning record, Perry.
Winning record.
Let's enjoy your start, mate.
Yeah, well, that's it. Like you said, so obviously Nathan Junior we got the draw with. Went off to another legend of the sport here in Barnsley, Elvis Dubé.
Yeah,
That
were you in
was-
Barnsley, that?
Yeah, we're down at
didn't know
Barnsley Metrodome. I'd done about 120 tickets for that or something, which ain't bad to say I'm from Sheffield. So, and that was my first fight under Riley's, first win. So that was good. Got Elvis. I remember a good moment with Elvis. I was still on the cigarettes at this point. I turned up and me and Pop were having a fagging smoking shelter at Metrodome, and Elvis just walks past and I'm like, "You all right, pal?" And he just looked at me, gone out. And then in the fight, first round, I'm jabbing his head off. Second round, he hit me with his overhand right, and it was like, have you played Knockout Kings as a kid? And you get that slow-mo, like that in the head. And my whole life flashed in front of me. And I watch it back now, you can't really see it, but he hits me with his shot, and it's felt to me a lot longer time. And I went, that's it, I'm going to get knocked out, my career's over, what have I done? Doing it like it was all there in that split second, and then all of a sudden I come back around and thought, well, no, I'm here. Right, get back on that job. I'll not try that again.
But you learn from them, don't you?
Yeah,
and now you're going forward as well. You'll be able to do that to others and all.
Yeah, that's
as
it.
you go forward. The more you'll do it, the more thick skin you'll get, Perry.
Yeah.
And like you say, I mean, if we had Elvis now, we could probably say, did you know you hurt him? And he might have said, yeah, I knew I hurt him.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to go in for kill because I knew for a fact my next few fights might have been...
He probably would have.
Or he might have turned around and said, well, he did it quite well. You never know.
Yeah,
You never know with these. But people like Elvis are just legends of sports, aren't they?
Legends, yeah. And I knew Elvis was dangerous anyway. I'd seen him get a few out there. Yeah. So when I felt that shot go in, and I went, oh, wow, I'm going to be another victim here, you know. But I got through that one. And then we had...
Ryan Ibbott you had after that. Another one.
First UK driving boxing show. That were COVID, weren't it?
I don't know, what it?
Yeah, COVID times. I'm quite lucky because obviously boxing with Dennis, he was still trying to do stuff through COVID. And we got the UK's first drive-through boxing down at the arena. That was a good story. We were running late to the venue. We were fighting about an hour's time and we couldn't get there. Traffic were even in Sheffield. And Rob sends me to the boot to get my bag out and then slams boot on my head.
Oh, no.
So I'm like, just before Ryan Ibbott fight my head, I proper milked it, I was scaring Rob. So he's like, no, you're right. And I'm looking at Gaz winking, going, don't know, I think I'm not going to be able to box like this. Rob was absolutely cacking his son. So every time I get in his car now, I say, you watch that boot.
What do you reckon to Ryan?
Yeah, he was a nice kid. That turned into a good scrap. Like, he were... I remember the first round, I put it on him last 10 seconds and I hit him with a good shot. He threw his toys out at Pram a bit. And he did say sorry after because he knew we did. But I put it on him and then he gave me a good run around for 4 rounds, wasn't it? So that was a good one. And then I think the next one was the Latvian.
Yeah, he's an absolute monster.
Oh,
absolute monster.
The Latvian was probably my worst best fight.
Andreev's won it. Andreev's something, isn't it how you pronounce it?
So that was another COVID fight down at the arena in the car park. We had 2 days in lockdown in the hotel with him for that. And we just seen him walking around the hotel in flip-flops at the same pair of shorts and Jesus there. And I'm looking at him thinking, I've seen his record and I'm thinking, I knew he'd fought. I heard he'd dropped Tony Bellew at some point. And I'm thinking, not this kid. I didn't know what he were bringing to the table at all. And when we get out here, I didn't throw a shot.
No,
and
nothing.
The thing is, I'd trained for that fight. And that was actually another eye-opener to, I didn't want this. I've trained for a fight. He made me look terrible. I got his hair in my mouth. He had to have an haircut halfway through the fight. He was just standing there taking everything he had. It took me to last 30 at 4th round to get him out of there. And I think Andy Brook just stopped it because he'd had enough for him anyway. Yeah. And them fights are quite embarrassing because it's all right getting the stoppage eventually. And he didn't do well. And then that is what I win this game for. I wanted a fight and he didn't want to fight. So,
but it works out well to get him on record of the stoppage, mate. Because not many did, you know.
Well,
and not many at all.
I think I retired him as well. I don't think he's fought since. So I'm putting a lot of career enders in, aren't I? So.
I mean, I'm not, the nicknames are promised, Perry, but that could have been a few nicknames today. That could have been Demolition Man, couldn't that? That could have been, you know what I mean?
That's it.
How'd I get the promised nickname anyway?
So it was obviously when I turned over, I was trying to think of what I could call myself and that. I went through a few things and it was like, I like the promise, obviously it goes with my name and that, but when you look at the promise, it's like, can mean a few things. Obviously, the promise to do my best at everything I do in this. I made a lot of promises to people around me, my family, like my wife and stuff, and I said, this is how it's going to go. And everything, to be fair, everything I've said that could happen has happened, and I've delivered on it. So I'm living by the name, really. So
You most certainly have delivered on it, haven't you, mate?
yeah,
You lived up
that's
to
it.
your name, mate.
Yeah, that's it. I've never made a promise I couldn't keep. So I didn't ever say I was going to be a world title holder. I didn't say anything. I just said I'm going to have a good go at it, and I'm going to do this, and every option that comes off it, I'll take, and I have. So
I wonder why that nickname were on, mate. But obviously,
then-
you lived up to that.
So we did the Latvian, and then we goes off to go on. Are we on fight 5 now?
You had Christian
Oh,
Donfat, didn't you?
right.
Donfat, right. Isn't he from Rotherham, him? He's a Cameroon Rotherham. He's from
Yeah.
Cameroon, but he lives in Rotherham, doesn't he?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And he were another one.
Head like concrete.
Yeah, you look at his record. I think at the time it was 7 losses, no wins, right? But because I think I'd already been stopped by Nathan Jr. by then, so he'd seen the weaknesses in me. So he turns up on the night and turns a 7, and he's got 7 losses, no wins, and I'm having a 50-50 fight with him in the middle of the ring, and I'm like, oh, this is hard work. This it's making me look awful because. Obviously, on paper, we know the game, but the casual fans are looking, going, he's got 7 losses. Perry should be walking through it. We know that's not the case. And I'm just like, making me look bad, this. I'd had enough. And I'd already had a fight in my head that I wanted, that I kept seeing coming up 2 weeks later. It was Dex Spellman. And they were the fights I want. I don't care what corner. No, they were the fights I wanted. Everyone's going, you're daft for wanting that. My trainer didn't want it. No one wanted it. I went, no, we want that fight. No one gave me a cat's NL and chance to get through the first round. Well, I proved everyone wrong. I got through the rounds. All right, rock and rave and this and that. And what come off the back of that? A nice WBF title. So I thought, well, I did something right, didn't I? So
Yeah, definitely. But like I said, before we go into Dex Spellman a bit more, so like talk a bit more, because, respect for what you got through with that, because I understand as well. I'm not really on social media much, Perry, but I saw a few having a couple of digs at you saying that you're going to get absolutely smashed and that. So credit to you for doing that. But before you had that fight with Christian, right, how did you feel when Nathan had stopped you? Because that was another thing a lot of people were giving you some stick about as well.
Yeah. Well, what it were with that, like I said, 2 weeks before that fight, I was just scheduled to box at Ponds Forge. Jason McClory were matchmaking it. I was like, right, okay. 2 weeks before he tells me he couldn't get no one, my original opponent had pulled out. I was supposed to be Taya Mohammed, I think, or something. I was like, right, okay. He didn't know anyone who could do it. I was like, you're telling me you can't match me up? I've sold like 15 grand's worth of tickets and you can't match me up with anyone in the cruiserweight division to come to Ponds Forge to fight me. I says, I don't believe that. So I says, I'll tell you what, let's get Nathan Jr. back in. What's he doing? Let's ask for Nathan Jr. Obviously, first 6 rounder. We'll right the wrong of the draw. And we'll put on a good show. So they bring Nathan and he's agreed. And I knew Nathan was going to come to have a go. So that's what I wanted. What I didn't want was him to knock me out when he did, but that's the sport we're in, isn't it? So,
but it wasn't a jab. I can guarantee you that, mate.
It weren't a jab. And what was funny about that is I remember, because I don't really get stunned that much, so fair play to him. And I ain't one of these for making excuses, but I drained loads of water out for some stupid reason. I didn't need to. I was cruiserweight. I was walking around 85 kilo. In my head, I was still trying to make light ever. I don't know why, but in my head, I was going to go and do light ever. So I was trying my best to be there, even though I knew Nathan was coming in heavy anyway. So I'm draining my Centimec scales the day before and stuff. I'd never do that again. Never. I know it's the biggest thing ever with water retention, isn't it? So, but when he did rock me, I remember looking at the ref saying, I'm sound, ref, I want to carry on. And when I watched it back, I obviously weren't fine because I get ref a nice hug, didn't I? So, but he didn't put me down, did I? I didn't get put down. That was the thing. The ref saved me.
Listen, mate, Nathan's no mug.
No, not at all.
And
nice kid as well.
Like I said, I'd like to meet Nathan. He wants to come on at some point.
Yeah.
But obviously, I think he's over in Derbyshire in somewhere. So he's not too far away.
I'll come up with him. He can come on.
Yeah, well, definitely, mate. We're not having a fair fight in here, though.
I look at opposite now. How else I can get 1 hour on Nathan? I'm looking at his record. I'm thinking, I'm going to overtake you soon on how many fights I've had, So see if I can beat him to 30.
Yeah, top man is Nathan. Moving on from that, mate, again, going back to Dex Spellman.
Yeah.
Respect for that fight, mate, because at the time, he's well known for his power. Or it's something like Kid Nitro or something, isn't it? It was something like that anyway, but
the thing
he
is,
could bang.
I saved that show. They couldn't get him matched up. They couldn't get him matched up. And I said to my trainer, I said, tell them this is what we want, and I want 2 free tables for my fans as well. Like that. And obviously I will sell them. And they bit his hand off because they couldn't get no one for that show. And in my head, up until the night of the fight, I was going to go and win that fight. Obviously, I believed I could. People didn't. And then,
I didn't. I must admit, I didn't, Perry.
Yeah.
But I wasn't one of them. I thought, respect for you taking this.
Yeah.
And I thought, if we can get through with this, it'll be an absolute, you know what I mean?
well, my stock
Big
went up
ticks in that box.
just for getting through the rounds. Like you said, I showed what I was
100%.
about. So,
Because you can bank and deck.
yeah, that's it.
When I saw the result the day after, because I always look after, and I say you got through it on points, and I thought, proved a few people wrong there, mate.
That's it.
So when you
I
had
remember just before I went out for that fight, obviously, Deck's a nice kid, but he's a beast. When I looked at him, he was like that. Come on, scales at like 14.8 or something. I was looking at him thinking, them scales are like them. He's about 15.5 stone. It's like it was a tank. And all I said to one of my pals as I come out, I just want to get home to my family safe. That were it. I'd made my mind up what I was going to do. And I went out there. And to be fair, I caught him with a few early on. He walked onto an uppercut and that, and I thought, I'm out. But he weren't going to back down. He was just in my face all the time. So the fact that I lasted the rounds, I were happy.
Too proud of that, mate.
Yeah.
I think that were a good... were he English champion at the time? Or he did win an English title, didn't he?
Did something. I think at some point he will have ranked like 2
definitely.
in world or something. At some point he was quite high up, weren't he?
So respect to that, mate.
Yeah.
But when you had this fight with Deck, did you have any inklings then that you thought you might turn over to away corner? We how he got paid and...
I enjoyed being in the away corner. Like you said, 'cause there's no pressure. There's just no pressure at all. Like you say, you're turning up and you're the villain in everybody else's story, aren't you? And that's it. Nobody cares about you. But I quite like that. It's like, I don't know, something about it. I just like the fact that you pantomime. Like we went to Dover the other day and it was like, the crowd started booing me, and I'm going, I'm not that bad, and then they're all cheering. It's all pantomime, isn't it? It's just,
yeah, we had a few lads on who had bits of piss on that front of them, and some of them had pound coins on that for them. Shame that I got the gloves on, really. If I could go down and get them in the pocket while they're at it, couldn't they lie?
I'd take all them pounds. Anyone wants to throw them at me, they can. I prefer £20 notes, so.
Oh, they don't hurt though, do they?
That's it.
After Dex Spellman, mate, we went on to your last career victory, mate, against Eric Narizan.
Yeah, he's a legend. Yeah. I think he's just retiring. I'm sure he's got.
I don't know if he's come back. You know,
he's got a fight.
Yes, he has.
I think this is his retirement fight. I think. So,
this is his last fight going there. I knew we're still going. He got one lined up.
Yeah, something like that. It might be. It might not be. You never know when everyone's retiring in this game, do you?
Is that him? Well, I had a quick look at your record. Like, is that him with like half and half record?
He's a very good fighter.
Yeah,
can bang.
He can bang. That's all you had to watch. We're training up to that fight. Gary said to me in the gym, and I listened to him for a change. He said, "Don't check him out." He says, "I'm going to train you to beat him." I says, "Right." And everything we were doing in gym, I'm thinking, this lad must be short. He must be short. I'd not even looked at him. He must be short. And then obviously we get there, and he were short. And I went, it all makes sense. Nah. First round of that fight, obviously 10 rounds. There were one moment in the first round where he threw that overhand right, and it landed. And I went, I'm not having any more of them. I jabbed his head off for 10 rounds. I boxed quite well, to be fair, that night. He were made for me. Like you said, that thing, he made me look good because it didn't have to get wet. I think I broke my hand in third round, jabbing his head. He still wouldn't get out of there. I put him on ropes in third, and I'm unlaunching everything I've got in him. And I can hear Gary in background, crowd are wanting blood, and Gary's just going, step off him, he's not ready. He's not ready. And he weren't. He weren't going. He'd have been still there now fighting me. Hard man.
He was a big danger man, and I think it's credit to him as well that Scarfe remembers him. You know what I mean? And like you said, his record now it's 29 wins, 36 losses, and 4 draws. But his 29 wins, 22 of them have been KOs.
Yeah.
So you know
he was coming, weren't he?
You know, even if you switch off for 10 rounds like he did for that 1 second, if he connects.
Yeah, I think he saw it as his last chance as well. Like he wanted that title. He wanted that title, and then obviously I kind of made his mind up for him which way he's going to go because I don't think he's won one since, has he? Yeah. So
I wonder if this what your record will look like in future.
Possibly so. You know, possibly so.
Maybe so, mate. But after this is when we're going to away mode, really, mate. Nah, I'm not really good with maths. But I had a word earlier. We got in with Ricky Reeves, a bit of domestic, bit of rivalry.
Less than 12 months ago, that, I think.
Yeah. Bit of rivalry, friendly rivalry, great build up to the fight. Yeah. Enjoyed every minute of it.
Yeah.
I enjoyed all interview and stuff. But when you went in with Ricky, from Ricky to your last fight now, this is when you know you're a proper road warrior and you're welcome on our show. Combined record now is the people you've fought is 46 wins and 3 losses between them.
Go on.
So, you know...
That's some going in it.
It most certainly is,
I've got to be... I keep looking for some sort of stats on. I've got to be one of the busiest cruiserweights going. I've got to be. I don't think there's anyone doing it.
Oh, yeah. The higher you go up, you find it harder.
Yeah.
And it's the higher you go, the more I think it's more dangerous at times.
Yeah, that's it.
You know what I mean? There's more weight behind them punches.
Yeah.
But obviously, when I've looked at a record from when they fought you, it's probably more than 46 and 3 now, because I've probably had a few more fights after you.
Yeah.
But let's talk about Ricky Reeves, mate, because I enjoyed every minute of that build-up, mate.
Yeah, yeah.
And you made that fight, that build-up.
Me and Ricky, we had a talk 2-3 years ago when we were both like wanting to turn over when a bit were. And we joked about there will be a day come that we have to fight each other. And that day we're going to come. And what better chance than a central area title for one of us. Now, in sparring, me and Ricky were one of those 50-50, genuine 50-50. Some days he'd have better than me, some days I'd have better than him. And we knew it would be a good fight. Now, no excuses, again, build up to that fight. Don't know how Ricky's camp went. He probably had things on. I'd moved house. I was literally building walls in bedrooms night before the fight. So my head weren't in the game anyway. My car broke down during the camp. That £1,800 to pay out. It was just like one thing after another. And I'm just like, oh, what is going off here? I just can't get a break. So he turns up for that fight. I think I sold about 15 grand worth of tickets again or something.
That's a lot of tickets.
Yeah, that way. So did that. Turned up. I always said, if Ricky were going to win that fight, it were going to be by knockout. But if it were on the decision, it were going to be me, because I'll outpoint him, I'll outjab him, I'll outbox him. What I didn't account for were him to hurt me that hard in the third that I just didn't recover. I watched the fight back, and there's a point in the 6th round where I look like a drunk man. My legs are just dragging across the floor. I just never recovered. From the 3rd round on, he hit me with a shot, that crack, I think, and it was the back of the head. So I was like, it is what it is. It weren't intentional off Ricky. It was just a shot. I don't think it were. I'd like to think it were not. I'll find out of him when I speak to him.
Yeah, well, we answer my message, so we'll have him. We'll blacklist him shortly. We'll let you if he gets back to the first
We'll see.
Question.
But I've spoke to Ricky since he's retired, because I says, we come cashing when we're older. I says, we'll walk around with belts and we'll sit and do an evening with, and now we got there, you know. I says, so it's... there's things to be done, but he's a nice lad anyway, Ricky.
He seems a nice guy, does
really,
Ricky?
Really nice guy, yeah.
You could tell on the build-up to you all, even though there were little bits of needle, you could tell both of you were just generally nice guys who just wanted to entertain.
Yeah, well, that's it. We'd do the interviews and then the cameras would cut and we'd be laughing at each other. And it's like, it's hard to take it serious when you do have that bond already, so...
Yeah, great fight. I really enjoyed that build-up, mate. He's finished now, Ricky, hasn't he?
Yeah. He got a title out of it, bless him. And he's had a good time, hasn't he? So.
Yeah, can't take that away from him, mate.
That's it.
And there's still time for you yet?
That's it.
Still time.
We'll see.
So we have to mention next to him, mate.
Go on.
Number 1 of 2, Mr. Billy. Come on, Mr. Billy.
Mr. Billy Dennis, right. So, Billy Dennis. Oh, wow.
Let me get a drink. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, that's it. So, me and Rob was on my stag doing Benidorm. We were absolutely drunk and we knew we got that fight. We was already telling everybody how we was going to win that fight. And I weren't turning up to roll down. I seen it as a winnable fight. And me and Rob both turned around to everyone on that stag and said, I'm going to old man him. I'm going to rough him up. I'm going to get inside his head. I'm going to break his ego. And I'm going to make him angry. And I'm going to make him lose his shit. He's going to fall apart. He's going to make mistakes. And then we're going to take him out later of rounds. We weren't planning to do that. It was working. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care what Mark Larson says. He weren't winning every round because when I were in there, he weren't winning. He fell apart. He fell apart that first fight. And I was fit. I was prepared. And I took the Promise Army with me. And we were going for a good go. And when I got disqualified, I still don't agree with the decision, but I've got to respect Mark Larson's decision on that. It is what it is. I still think another round... Billy wouldn't have been in that ring. He'd gone. His head had gone. And that were all the mind games. I'm talking to him. I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm talking to my crowd, telling everyone that I'm getting in his head. I was proper doing everything I could to upset him. And I did. This time around, we get the 2 days notice on it. Got asked if I wanted it. Of course I do. Don't take no support. Just come down, do your job, go home. Fair enough. So goes down and we've played the villain. And do you know what? I'll give Billy his credit. He were a lot better. He didn't let me get in his head. I still tried to rough him up a bit. The ref weren't really allowing me to do what I wanted to do. I won't take no away from Billy. He sent fitter, and I were unfitter than I were last year. But I've just come off all that with the brain stuff, and I'm like getting my fitness back up as I go. But it was weird. I was literally down there as the pantomime villain. So I wanted to come out to Arctic Monkeys' Mardy Bum, just to add fuel to the fire a bit more. And I told the bloke doing the DJing, and he was like, well, Billy's my pal, I've known him years, and this and that. I comes out, and they got Hot Stepper on. And I'm going, well, no one's listening to me. There were kid fist bumping me like that. So I've gone to fist bump him, and his dad stood next to him. He's about 8 stone wet through with a pint in his hand. And I went like that to son, and he just looked at me like that, and he was like, Billy's going to knock you the fuck out. I'm like, oh, yep, nice one. You're a good role model. Off to the ring I go. I could hear a crowd going, you've hurt him. I'm going, he ain't really hurt me. I just weren't winning, you know what I mean? I just weren't winning.
You're growing in stature as well, because that was your final fight, obviously, to now, this interview.
Yeah.
But like you said, what you should give yourself some credit for there is, you've just said there that Billy come back, you're better, and he's learnt from that first fight. You've got in his head, right? And he knows when you're coming back down. It's credit to you. He's learnt from that. And if it weren't for you doing that for him, winding him up and stuff, he wouldn't have never had that.
Well, that's it. And he's only a young lad.
That's what you're doing.
Yeah, he's only a young lad. And like I've been there in the unlicensed game or whatever where egos got better with you. And that's all it were. And like you say, I think Billy will learn a lot from this anyway. He'll go on now and he'll meet another me and he'll handle it different first time round. And that's how you learn, innit? So
100%.
That's it. So yeah, I hopefully helped him a bit. I said to him after this fight, and I said it to his team as well, I went, why didn't he just do this first time round? It would have saved you paying me twice to come down, wouldn't it? But it is what it is, isn't it?
Yeah, so that's what you're paid to do, mate, to learn these guys, and that's why you're doing what you're doing now, mate. You're doing a good job at it, pal.
That's it.
We look forward to one day putting a result on for you on a Monday morning, won't we?
Yeah, that's it.
So you got disqualified in first one?
Yeah.
What for?
Persistent fouls was the mark licence interpretation of it. So this time round, it made me laugh because I was saying to you outside, I said, I actually had a word with the ref. Mark Lyson was there that night, and they said, Mark Lyson's not doing it, we're going to make it fair. So they put other lad in. So I says to him, just to clarify, if I hold his arm and I've got an arm free and he's got an arm free, can I work? Because that's what I want to do. I want to rough him up. And the referee said to me before the fight, he said, yep, I'm not Mark Lyson. I'm going to let this fight roll. I was like, happy days. Did anyone watch the fight? What happened every single time I come in close, break. And in the fourth, I got my final warning, I got a point took off, and I basically got told if I didn't stand there and go toe-to-toe with him, I'd be getting disqualified, and I go on with my purse withheld. And I thought, wow. So I didn't want to be a punch bag for Dennis. So them last 2 rounds were just pure survival. Pure survival. Just did what I could to get home. Obviously, no, I've got Nathan Qualis next week. So.
Well, there you go, mate. That's where it goes. Like I said, I'm sure Billy will go on from that and he'll learn a lot.
Yeah.
100%. And then you lost to Spencer Oatman, mate, didn't you?
Yeah, that was funny when I was talking about that with Rob last night, because we were out at a do with Rob. That was my last fight before I got married. And we still had a hog roast to get paid for.
Right.
So Spencer Oatman were there to pay for the hog roast, basically. And we goes down, and all day they were a vibe off this fight where I knew Rob were nervous about it. He knew this kid was tasty. And Rob said, I'd already made the decision in the car on the way down. He says, if this gets too much, that towel's going in. I says, right, fair enough. So we goes out first round, and he pinging me head, pinging me. I think I end up taking a knee or whatever. So I gets back second round, and he goes, you need to show me something, or that towel's going in. I says, yeah, no worries. So we goes out there. I just went in survival mode then again. I thought, I ain't got no chance on this one. So I goes in survival mode. What makes me laugh is when Rob actually finally throws the towel in, I'm actually landing shots. I'm like, what's going off here? Like, I watch it back, and he's throwing the towel in as I'm giving him a left right. I goes, makes no sense. And I was just about to kick off at Rob in the corner, and he went, you get married in 3 weeks. I've got you what you wanted. Why are you taking any punishment? Let's get home. I went, fair enough. How do you argue with that? Like, as my manager, my friend, he was looking after me. And he wanted to get back, it can't get home, I know that. So we're driving up motorway and we goes to Burger King and Rob started falling asleep. So I'm like, it's all right, I'll take over. So he's getting his head down it back, and I'm thinking, hang on a minute, I couldn't finish 6 rounds, but you're happy to let me drive you home? Like, so pulling fast one on me there, innit, you know?
Don't give him no travel expenses for that one, Perry.
That's it.
How much is an hog roast these days?
Oh, enough. I got a good rate on it though, didn't I? So,
That's the first, isn't it? A journeyman paying for his paycheck, paying for an hog roast. That's the first.
Well, my debut fight paid for my divorce. And then the last couple paid for my wedding. I'm hoping I don't have to pay for another divorce. So
listen, you're a good team, you're two.
Yeah, definitely.
You better give her a shout out, you know, before.
Yeah, definitely. She's the brains behind it all, isn't she? So
she is. I remember when we were at Metrodome, he says to me, if he loses this next fight, he's going to be at away corner with you.
That's it.
And here we are, mate.
Here we are. Like you say, it's like a blessing, really. Like it's quite good to be doing what I'm doing. I'm enjoying it. It's like there's no pressure. I've always fancied it, like, you hear the difference inside the away changing rooms to the home ones. There's no pressure on you. Pete, who's come to ours, who trains Dom Hunt, he says, obviously, he's going out with Dom Hunt all the time and everything's really serious and all this. And rightly so, Dom's on a really good path. He's been out with me past 2 weeks and we were having a laugh and going to Five Guys and I'm, like, falling asleep and stuff. He's like, it's just a different vibe. He's enjoying it, you know.
It's good. It's a great atmosphere at away corner. They're all a nice bunch, mate. And you'll meet some great guys on the road, mate. I'm sure you will. So what do you reckon to Spencer Oatman then, mate? What are you, a decent fighter?
Yeah.
Do you think he'll go on?
Yeah. Me and my team both said this. When you look back, there's a couple stand out that are going to go on, do well. There's Spencer Oatman and Trader Berry. And I wouldn't mind seeing that fight, to be fair. I'd see them two together. But Spencer, when I watch it back, even that I could have survived the rounds, and I know why my team did what he did. The way he was boxing everything, he didn't rush in. His angles were good. I was watching what he was doing with his ring craft and stuff. He's a very clever boxer. And this stuff I was picking up on, and I was watching him back with fair play to him there. He get me cornered, get me there. He knew what he was doing. And then Trader Berry, like I say, he's just a machine. He just, like 6'6", like that, ploughing through it. Yeah, he's got some power behind him.
He's the one I've starred for the last, and we'll come to it in a minute, mate. After Spence, you went in with Jack Bannister, didn't you?
Yeah, Jack Bannister. I think Jack Bannister I fancied that one.
Yeah.
I turned up. They scored every round to Jack. I think it was 50-50 fight. Obviously, I had a nice chicken madras just before that fight. That was good. They did a good curry house round corner. Daz and Rob were saying to me, you're not going to eat a madras before you fight, are you? I'm like, damn right I am. So we're getting ready, and they said to me, that's going to repeat on you later. I went, no, I'll be sound. And just as I was getting ready, I thought, I'm not getting satisfaction now, but why have I had that madras? But it was good.
I was thinking about that then. I thought, that's not going to hold very well, that, mate. Yeah, if that comes up in ring, it's not going to be a nice colour either.
But I enjoyed that fight. That was another one. I goes out to pantomime booze. By the end of it, everyone's cheering. We put on a good show. Jack was a nice lad. He was my first fight after being a married man. I told him that as well. We get some skills. I said, you're my first fight now, I'm married. I said, don't be leaving me too many marks, you know. So,
but like you said, you've done your job again there, Perry. You've gone in there, booed, and they've given you a clap after. You've done your job. You're good at what you do.
And the lads behind the scenes, they're top lads as well. Like that's what I like. I'm liking, like the people I'm meeting some good people along the way, you know.
And you'll meet plenty more as you go on, mate.
That's it.
You will do, mate. So after that, mate, as well, went in with Sonny Taylor.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's like. He said he was 9-0, but his record was quite light. He said he fought a lot. Very padded, like.
And I fancied that one.
Did you?
I turned up to win that one. That was another frustration one because this Andy Brooks scored him every round. I don't think I did enough to win it, especially in the away corner. I'd have been happy with a draw. He weren't firing on cylinders that night, Sonny, and I were getting in his head a bit. I think I know Sonny come out with a few excuses after. He says he'd had a lot and he just had a baby and that. I couldn't relate to that. He probably weren't fully in it. But I think what he did do, he's underestimated me. I think he thought I was coming round to walk him round like everybody else had. And that weren't the case. I fancied that. There were a few on my list. There were Sonny, Ricky, Sheldon. I nearly made Sheldon happen the other week. Ricky obviously won fair and square. So Sonny Taylor, I thought central area-ish. I fancy that one. And because I've watched that in Paddy's record, I knew it was a winnable fight. And he was a nice kid. And a good story there with the people of Hull. I lost my wallet outside the venue. And a lady contacted me on Facebook and managed to get in touch with me. and send me my wallet back. And I just thought that's nice of people, that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's brilliant, that, isn't it?
So there were no money in it anyway. But what I ended up doing, I ended up taking her bank details and giving her a bit of something just as a thank you. Saves you cancelling your cards, doesn't it?
Oh,
and
brilliant.
Stuff, so,
Well, fair play to her, mate. That respect. So we'll come on to Mr. Dewberry then, mate.
Mr. Dewberry.
Is he the best one you've fought, do you think? Or would you say, are you going to go 50-50?
Like I said, obviously Dex Spellman were up there when he were there. It's a tough one because if Trader Berry were boxed at the same time as I boxed Spencer, Tao probably would have gone in for that one. Mm-hmm. Like you said, it weren't not to do with the opponent why the Tao went in, it was to do with what was going on out of my life and I'm getting married and whatever. But because Trader Berry was the gap between that and Nick Parker, we had to get through Trader Berry to make Nick Parker happen. So I think if Spence were there in place, I would have done the same with that. It's hard to call it between them. I would like to see the fight between Trader Berry and Spence Open.
I was going to say we have to have a little quick chat about this because we were talking about this earlier when we were having a coffee, and I think this could be a good little title fight, couldn't it?
Yeah, definitely. They both like Southern or something. Yeah. They could get a British title out of that one, to be fair. I don't see why not. Spencer's really good. He's got a good team, and then Trader Berry, he's coming on. He just stops for one at weekend, hasn't he?
Would it be a Bull versus Matador, do you think?
Bit of that, yeah. I think Trey's naturally the stronger lad, but Spencer's probably got the better footwork, the movement, so it'd be nice to see the clash of how that would balance out. So.
Be a nice 50-50, mate.
Yeah, definitely.
If it happened, we'll have to try and make a date in it.
Yeah, definitely. I would like to see that fight. It'd be a real interesting fight.
If we've got some money, we'll come.
Yeah, that's it. We'll see. See if I've been working and see if I've got any.
Oh, well, that'll be fine on the road, mate. That phone of yours, I'm not going to stop ringing it your way, mate. Believe me.
I think we've been offered, in March alone, I could have fought 4 out of 5 weekends. I've only took 3 of them. One of them clashes with a James Blunt gig I've got. So
Are you still going?
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to go up and see him in Leeds with my pal at the end of the month, so...
Yeah, that phone, at the weight that you're at, will never stop ringing. You'll be an absolute dream for him, mate. So, we're coming towards the end of career. Nowhere near finish yet, Perry Howe.
Nowhere near. Like I always said to our lass, I says, it's a roller coaster and I can get off at any time I want. I'm just not ready to just yet.
Enjoy that ride.
That's it. I know the board have brought these extra things in with the brain stuff now, so I'm assessing it on that as well. Every year that passes, how much are the medical fees, what's it for me to continue? And if I'm fit and willing to, then I will. I go to Jamaica on my extended, delayed honeymoon in January, just as my brain scans are due and stuff. So while I'm away in Jamaica, I'll be making a decision. But I'm going to carry on. I love it. I love it. Who doesn't? Like I say, 10 years old, I got told I'd never do anything with boxing. I remember starting down at Brendan's at 10-year-old, and he said to me, you will be a pro boxer. He says, it is the easiest sport to become professional in, but the hardest to actually make anything out of. And that rings so true. So true. Like every week, like you say, you just think, yeah. And then all the teachers and people in my life growing up saying, you'll never do anything with boxing. It's like, I'm living it now. I'm proving you're all wrong. So
and that's come on, Journeyman came, mate. I should be honoured.
That's it. That's it.
You've peaked.
Living the dream. I did my driving test in the army. I failed it 3 times. I did my class 2 in the army. On my first test, I crashed into a German bin truck. I've then spent the last 3-4 years before I gave that up driving bin trucks. It's like I seem to do everything people tell me I can't do, you know? So I think it's a good thing to show the kids, like you said, kids at school, they get put in boxes straight away. They get told, you can do this, you can't do this, you can do this. Don't let anybody tell you what you can and can't do. What you do, what you want to do.
100%, mate.
That is it.
Never let anybody...
As long as it isn't affecting somebody else and it's legal or you don't get caught, do what you want to do.
So going forward, mate, what we're reckoning this year, mate? Busy.
Be nice to see 50. It's pushing it.
I think that's pushing it a little bit.
Pushing it now.
You need a break.
I think we'll see 30. Yeah. I think we'll see 30. What we're on now? I can't remember. Lost count.
We're 17 at minute, mate.
17. So 30's doable. But I take every fight as it comes. I ain't really got a number in my head. So I ain't really got a number I want to get to before I retire either. I don't even think I'll get 100, but I might not. If I got close, I'd have to see that out, wouldn't I?
Well, the way you're going at the minute, I mean, like it says, you got Jamaica in January.
Yeah.
Get through this year, do what you're doing.
See how
you go.
Yeah, that's it.
Bit at a time, mate.
I'm just enjoying myself, like I say. Every day, every phone call we get, every time Rob rings me and says, so-and-so wants to fight you, so-and-so... I go, yep, no worries. I'm just enjoying it, you know.
Been an absolute pleasure to have you on, Perry.
Yeah, been a pleasure to be here, mate.
Yeah, you're welcome anytime. We're always here for you in the away corner, you know that.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll see you on some shows this time, mate. Keep doing what you're doing and never change, boss, yeah?
Definitely, lads, definitely. Thanks
All the
for
best,
having us.
mate.
Thank you very much.
The Journeyman Cave is produced by James Proud. Music by Ryan Carrier. Special thanks to Rhythm Inc. Studios for hosting. All views expressed are of the guests only. The Journeyman Cave and host bear no responsibility for any opinions given. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter @The Journeyman Cave.